Hi everyone and welcome to Laura Talks MS. I hope you're all keeping well. I don't know how people feel on a day-to-day basis with their MS, and this is what I want to talk about today in this video because I get asked it quite often, about how do you feel, what's it like to have MS? But do you know what? There's really no one answer fits all to this question because, well, A, MS is different for everybody, and B, I feel very differently with my MS on a day-to-day basis. So, for example, take today, for instance, I probably look really well, but my point of doing the video today is actually I'm really struggling today, but from an outsider's point of view, nobody would really see that. It's really difficult to convey this invisible symptoms or these invisible symptoms that we have with MS to other people. So I think it was Richard brought up a comment in one of my other videos which said, it's really difficult when people kind of see you looking well and say that you look well, even though inside we may have pain, we may be feeling really rotten that day, we may be really fatigued, but people don't understand many things, many symptoms that we have with MS, and you don't expect them to, but I think it's that frustration for us to try and explain it and possibly justify in situations why we feel like this. I find that really difficult, and yes, I find that really frustrating. I think I've got a lot better with it over the years, and maybe for people who are just new into this world of MS and exploring the different ways that people will react to how you're feeling and maybe not understanding the invisible symptoms, how you deal with those. So for example, today I'm really fatigued and I know my limits today. I know what I can do, I know what I can't do, I know what I need to be able to do in order to give my body that rest and recuperation to be able to be okay for tomorrow. So generally, I know when this is coming on, but sometimes I haven't got a clue. And I think this is the thing with MS. One day I can wake up feeling actually quite good, and I suppose my good could be somebody's bad, but for me that's actually a good day. And then some days I can wake up feeling really very bad. Maybe there's a new symptom which has presented itself and I've not experienced that before. It may have something to do with the MS, it may not, but I feel like sometimes if I have something, maybe I've got a cold or maybe I've got a bug come in, because I have MS, I feel that my symptoms are always exaggerated, and it just makes things worse for me. A lot of the time, I find I have people misunderstanding MS for things like ME. When I'm trying to explain my MS to somebody, they'll jump in straight away and they'll say, oh yeah, it's that thing called ME, isn't it? It's that thing that makes you really tired. I always say about staying positive with my MS, and from the get-go when I was diagnosed, for some reason that was just how I felt, that's just how I wanted to deal with things, and it's always been a thing with me. I just want to channel my energy into focusing on the things that I can control and that I can do for my MS, rather than kind of focusing on the negatives. And that's how it works for me. But I don't want to by any means, kind of underestimate MS or, I don't know, underplay it, because MS is, it's a difficult condition to live with. And you don't know from one day to the next what you're going to experience. You don't know from 1 week or from 1 year to the next. It changes your life. It takes away things that, you know, like I said in another video, it's taken away things that I once was able to do, and I can no longer do those things anymore. But I just have to appreciate that, and I have to understand it, and I just have to adapt now. And I adapt, and I work around ways of trying to find out how I can do things differently. And okay, it is different to the way that I used to be able to do it, but it's okay. And you know, you get used to it. I've grown up in a really kind, giving and sharing, loving family. And I really believe that that's the way forward with anything in life. And if I had a magic wand and I could wave it over everybody and make them better, that's what I wish I could do. Unfortunately, I don't have one. So the next best thing for me is to be able to make these videos and just give little bits of information or experience and just share that with anybody who I think it might be able to help. And it might just be the tiniest things, but if I can kind of give back what I've learned to someone else, then I don't know, it just makes me feel that I've helped in some way. So these are what these videos are for. So we do go through some really difficult times with MS, and it's especially difficult as well for others who don't understand MS, because, you know, if you don't have it, it is a hard thing to understand. If you do have it, it's a hard thing to understand. So, you know, I just think it's really nice to have this community of people who can share our stories with each other and just talk and just have something in common with each other, who kind of do know where we're all coming from. So I hope that the information and the advice that I'm giving to you might help, just even in some way. And just carry on looking after yourselves, looking after your bodies, your minds, and those souls. And until a couple of weeks' time, I shall see you then. Take care, everyone, and see you soon.